All right, welcome to Health Second Opinion. Dr. Chad McDill here with you. Excited about another week of some principle and some truth to allow people to have the freedom to be able to make an educated choice about how they will determine their health care and what health really means to them, and so that they can have the best quality and quantity of life that each and every one of us deserves. And it's going to be a fun one because we're talking about metabolism and the workshop that we have coming up. And as a matter of fact, let's have a little fun with it right now. You can text the office number, Belly Fire, and we will talk about revving up and turning on the burn of your metabolism, not the heartburn, not the acid reflux, but the actual internal furnace that a lot of people like to think of as our metabolism, and try to blow the lid off of some of the common things that are contaminating people's thought and keeping them from having the metabolism that they would like. And, some of the things, one of the things, I need to clarify something that went out on Facebook earlier. And it was a comment from a patient that had been in and hadn't been in a while. And he just noticed this plate sitting out on my counter. So here we go. If you're a patient in my office, you've probably seen this. Let's see if I can tilt it up where it's good and visible. So this is the McDonald's. See if I can rotate it. There we go. There's the nice logo. And the reason that he commented on this and posted on it, I want to zoom in, see if you can see the meat specks. There you go, on top of that bun. And the reason it's so significant, we were talking about it, is that it's from 2017, St. Patty's Day. We bought it and brought it in, started it, and that's the lighter bun. The darker, the darker bun, and then the lighter bun is 2018. And so the meat lasted 2 weeks before it started growing any mold. And then we grabbed the meat and threw it away. And then the chicken nuggets that used to be in here, but the bun that has the meat specks on it, it never started to grow anything. And then the chicken nuggets, we threw them away after 6 months. They finally started growing a little bit of mold, and we didn't want it to contaminate the rest of the experiment. So we wanted to see, that's why it was significant. And we were making comments back and forth that, hashtag nutrition matters. And the idea is that the level of nutrition, sorry, I don't want to break that glass, is what we put into our bodies is the fuel to which we then build not only our energy that we think of as our metabolism, but that is broken down into the bits and pieces, the amino acids and the proteins and the fats and the carbohydrates and the things that our body then reconstructs and reanimates into every living tissue that we have. And so, your nutrition matters. And if that bun, 18 and 2017, can last that long. And the fries, I mean, seriously, a little girl came in here a couple months ago. It's probably, with my brain, the way that time flies. When you have kids, if you have kids, you know what I mean. It's probably been 6 months, but came in and consumed one. And we all thought, well, gosh, this, for all I knew, be a lawsuit. But no, she never even got sick. It was still just as bad as it was originally. And it's not growing anything. So I guess, I don't know what it is, but I do say that it is not fit for human consumption. And so every day my heart breaks on my way into work when I see the line doubled around, 2 lanes, double going through that McDonald's parking lot. And for breakfast, I'm coming in here at 6:30, 7 in the morning, and bam, that place is jumping. And it breaks my heart because so many people will sit around and they'll say, Well, I don't know why I'm not as healthy as I should be. You know, there's so many excuses. So I'm going to run the thing. One of the biggest things that is I look at this 88% of Americans suffer from a metabolic disorder, and most of them don't even know it. So there's the real stat. So 12% of America has their properly functioning metabolism, and 88% don't. And so right now, bam, your brain's saying, dude, I'm one of the 12%. I'm rocking this thing, even though you might, have some things that aren't working perfectly in your life. So we'll name off a little bit of the list that are some common metabolism disorders that often people don't really think about as metabolism disorders. Things like high cholesterol, heart disease, obesity, diabetes, autoimmune disorders, thyroid. Let's see here, infertility, Cushing's syndrome, cancer, fatty liver disease, arthritis, and chronic pain, and many, many more. So then you think, oh, whew, God, not on that list, but the list goes on. Here are some symptoms that people will commonly experience during their metabolic disorders that are pre-diagnosis, and that is fatigue. And they call it, well, maybe my thyroid's a little slow, or maybe they full-blown thyroid disorders and thyroid issues, suppressed appetite, cold hands and feet, a low sex drive, really painful periods, and bloating, and things like PCOS, polycystic ovarian disease, anxiety and depression, hair loss, brittle nails, insomnia, infertility, irritability, and obesity is on this list once again. So, bam. I don't know. Answer your question. How many from that list do you have? And I hope it's none. But then you're part of the 12%, or maybe. And then it becomes, what can we do to move the other 88% into and make that graph, like if it was a pie and there's only this tiny little piece of that pie that's not in the metabolic disorder, how do we widen that? How do we make the whole group where we reverse it the way it should be, that only maybe 12% of the population has the metabolic disorders? Like, how are we going to move people? Because the fact is that you might be thinking that for yourself. And that's exactly what this workshop is going to be about. And it's really going to be about how to identify those things in your own life. Because the good news is that hopefully y'all have awoken to the fact, the way that I did 7 or 8 years ago. I mean, I'd love to say that it was back in chiropractic school, and I would love to say that I've known this stuff all along, but it's really been more implemented and taught and ingrained in me in the last 7 years since I've been a part of Max Living. And so I'm not that far ahead. So the reality is that to understand, it's not a quick fix. There is no one size fits all, and there is no pill for every ill. And once we can awaken to that fact and understand that there is no way to pharmaceutical your way out of a problem that you lifestyled it into, and we have to have this mindset that says, okay, I've seen enough of that failure, and I've watched enough of it in my friends and family, that I'm okay with this awakening, and I'm going to figure out my recipe, which is different from everyone else's recipe. And once you have that awakening and that awareness, then you can start down the path of seeking out that result for you. And so if you're not there yet, well, okay, there's how you get there. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to turn that off. Text Bellyfire to the office, and we'll get you signed up for the workshop. Make sure you tell us how many people are coming with you. Can only house about 50 people, so that'll be a max out. And so, well, there might be some room for maybe 5 or 10 to stand in the back. So we've already got 40 something people signed up. And so just make sure and text and let us know what's going on, and we'll try to get you signed up and save you a seat. So what are we going to do after we have this awareness of the fact that it is a self-induced issue, and that like changing your nutrition? But what is the recipe? Well, I really think that the reason that I'm talking about this and the reason that we're presenting this workshop is because of a patient who she came in and she said, I'm so sad I'm not going to be able to make it to the workshop. And okay, well, why aren't you going to be able to make it to the workshop? So I've got to work and I've got these things going on. She said, but the reason that I'm sad is because it was at a workshop that my life changed again. And I was so unhappy and I was having a lot of problems. And it was because I was at the highest weight I've ever been. She said she was close to 200 pounds. And so, and being a smaller framed, maybe 5'6" person, that's a lot. And so she said, you know, and it was there that I learned exactly and was able to identify what was my problems and how to change it. And then I did the challenge with y'all. And in that first 30 days, I really made some progress. And, you know, I'm not at my ideal weight yet, but I have lost 51 pounds. So that's really cool, right? And this is while being a working mom and having a couple of kids, and you know, all the things that are the common excuses to which we give ourselves is you know, oh, I work a lot, I'm on my feet a lot. Well, I've been on my feet since 9 a.m. and you know, I still got in a 45-minute bike ride. And so the idea is that if you value it enough and your why is big enough, the how becomes inconsequential. And you can do these things, but it's about having the equipment, and not in a physical, but in the package of this whole approach to being able to get you back to where you want to be. And so, sorry, some shenanigans out in the parking lot and to make sure everything was okay. So that's where Max Living comes in. And that's why I'm so enamored in providing this for both my family and you is this holistic approach to identifying what is going wrong in your life. Is it the fact that why is your metabolism in the state that it's in? And it can be one of 5 things. And that's your mindset and your nutrition, your exercise or the lack thereof, the type of exercising you're doing. If you're doing the wrong type of exercise for you at this point in time, well, then it's not going to work. And then it's about helping you unpackage your life and look at these aspects to see, you know, is my brain and my nervous system functioning as it should be? And then, am I toxic? If I've been around a lot of chemicals, that's the reason I can't seem to, my body's got to keep this fat and it's got to keep this weight and this amount of water and this amount of bloating and this amount of things, because I'm storing all these toxins that I didn't know. And so when we walk ourselves through this workshop, it's an amazing adventure. And then we help you illuminate that. So one of the things that we'll be doing is a 30-day challenge that comes with the workshop. So get ready. If you show up, I want you to, number one, and even when you're watching this show, are you looking through the lenses, the vision of saying why you can't do the things that you know you need to do, and giving yourself the life excuses? I don't have time, I'm busy, you know, I have all these things. Or are you looking at information for the opportunity of change? Like, you know, I can see how many people are tuning in and tuning out and tuning in, tuning out. And as that sequence changes, even though our attention spans are different these days, it could be that, oh gosh, I'm not ready to listen to that. It could be that, you know, you don't agree with the information or whatever. There's tons of different things, but it is determined by your mindset, the approach that you want. And so when we look at the challenge, what we're going to be doing, we're going to be having a progress picture is going to be one step. Then we're going to be doing some things with our nutrition that involves a shake, also 2 meals on the advanced plan, half your body weight in ounces of water a day. You'll be committing to a time frame of a workout. Then we'll be evaluating what your chiropractic commitment is. And then we'll be getting rid of alcohol and cheat meals. And then we'll also be having a study so that's the challenge that you'll be able to take part in. It's 8 different parts. And so one of the things that we're looking at is, so many people ask me, as a matter of fact, one of the patients that'll be attending was talking about intermittent fasting. And, one of the things, and you can go ahead and start looking into this, my favorite window of intermittent fasting is the 16-8. And so you find what it's easiest to skip for you. And if you're not familiar with it, a lot of people are doing the 24 or the 16-8. And so that 16-8 window is 8 hours of allowing yourself to have calories and 16 hours of fasting. And, a lot of people say, well, is that really good for your metabolism, or is that like starvation? And the answer is no, it's great for your metabolism. On average, people who will do it for 30 days will lose at least 4% of their fat mass. It's pretty cool. And so it does not affect your basal metabolic rate negatively. It just allows your body to use the fat for fuel. But one of the things we're going to clean up is there's dirty keto and there's clean keto, and there's dirty intermittent fasting, and then there's clean intermittent fasting. And so to equip you with the differences between them takes longer than I have during the show, and that's why we're going to do it during the workshop. But those are the things, some of the topics that we're going to unpack for people. And one of the big things that I would encourage you to do, go to maxliving.com and look up the advanced plan. Because the advanced plan is and going to be explained in great detail of the clean keto. And the idea is, again, getting back to why we don't eat McDonald's, because I could just go through the drive-thru and say, hold the bun, give me all the meat, and I'll just consume that and some cheese and all this stuff. And I could be saying I was doing keto, or dropping off and, at Thatcher's and grabbing just a pound of pork or whatever, right? I mean, that's one version. You could literally be doing keto that way. But you're going to be toxic and sick, and you're going to increase your risk of heart disease and all this other inflammation in your body, because that's just not how it works. And so you want to make sure when you get done with losing the weight, the reason fad diets fail, 95% of fad diets fail. And it's because they are trying to biohack is the key new word. Biohacking is like hacking a computer. There are ways to hack the human body and to trick it into speeding up the metabolism for a little while, but they're non-sustainable. So when we realign ourselves with the principles of health and healing, the body does it for us. It's not magic. It's actually the oldest form of science in the world, is just getting in alignment with the principles of nutrition. And yes, to go ahead and say, some of this is going to be, when you look at the advanced plan, it's clean plant-based, and then some things added in. And so it's going to be really great. And the resources are right there on maxliving.com. And so once you get on the site, advanced plan versus the core plan. And so you could show up with some of that. And so one of the things that is a part of this whole clean eating, and again, ditching McDonald's. One of the happiest days that I would have, or I shouldn't say happiest days, how about a happy morning? Really exciting. I might get out and do cartwheels in their parking lot. If I was able to round the corner coming down from the mountain and go through, and the parking lot and the drive-through was empty at both McDonald's and Hardee's. And I could do that for a week and just see that people were awakening to how they were trashing themselves. I mean, literally, eating that and sitting all day at your job. I hate to be this way, but I'd rather you drink a whole bunch and smoke a whole bunch and do whatever than to just sit around. That's how bad it is. And so there's you a nice comparison. So one of the things, I want to touch base on the detox, because so many folks are wondering, they ask themselves, well, am I toxic and how do I know? Well, one of the things is if you're using cosmetics, and we all do, shampoo, lotions, things like that. And so that's for the guys, for the girls, if you're using any type of cosmetics, makeup, things like that, and you have not read the labels on the back, then I want you to go to the beautycounter.com and look at their never list, and then have that never list in front of you. Actually, you can just text the office. There's the office number. Questions, and you could text never list, and then I think we can text that back to you. And so when we get that list to you, you can then read your labels, and then you're going to realize just how much of the toxic soup you're putting on your body. And you think, well, maybe that's not that bad. But on average, women, before they leave the house, have encountered over 100 toxic chemicals. We're talking things that cause cancer, endocrine disruptors. And so that's why we use Beauty Counter. And so then how do you get rid of it? Well, at the workshop, we're going to talk about in detail the how the detox system works. And it's really a two-part system. And yes, that's just the kit. The detox kit is a two-part system. Minimizing toxicity is a lifestyle issue, and it's dealing with your cosmetics. It's dealing with your nutrition and understanding where the biggest offenders are coming from. And then, so to get a heads up on that, Dirty Dozen versus Clean 15, show up to the workshop with the EWG. So go to your app store on your iPhone. I don't know what it is for an Android, and get the ewg.org. Just type that in, apps will pop up. Download Healthy Living and Food Scores. Those are going to be the two apps that you can download. And then we'll talk about how to use them better at the workshop. But you go ahead and start exploring that. Start scanning some of your stuff, the food labels, and scanning some of the cosmetics, and just realize how eye-opening that will be. But the detox kit is really about a pill in the morning, a supplement that allows your body to utilize it. And remember, the greatest thing that we do in this office is to not treat your symptoms or your conditions. It's the greatest thing that we do. And that goes for every part of it. That means your low back pain. That means your neck pain. That means your GI problems, your colicky baby, anything that you come into the office for. We're not treating it. The idea is we're removing interference to what your body can already do. And so if you're eating McDonald's a whole bunch and you remove it, that allows your body to not have as much toxicity coming in, and then to have better building blocks to rebuild you with. And that is removing a barrier to the expression of your life. And so then when we adjust a person, we remove the interference to the nervous system. So by providing this detox kit, that aside is to come back to the point of giving your body the substrate that it needs to make the enzymes and the things like superoxide dismutase and glutathione and all these things that go through and detox the body intracellularly and pump out the junk. And so we give your body the building blocks to do that better. And then it's an activated charcoal pill at night that allows a binding of all of those things that you've eliminated throughout the day. And you take that at night so that you don't auto-intoxicate when the colon pulls the water back in, which is its job, and that's what used to dysentery and all of these different things that we experienced before we knew how to let the MDs, if you have that and you're dying, to treat it. But we learned that if you would basically dehydrate and die. And so the colon's job is to pull back in the water. But a lot of the toxins that you're getting rid of are water soluble. And so some of them will come right back in if you don't have a healthy colon and your body is not somehow binding that up with something like the activated charcoal or a extremely high fiber diet. And so these are the concepts that we want to empower you with to allow you to take hold and take control of your health so that we can get rid of the list, the things like obesity, diabetes, heart disease, that are the number one reasons why people are succumbing to this virus that has crossed the globe. And it's not just about the virus, it's about the host. And we can't control what happens out there into the virus, but we can control what's going on in our bodies. We can control the soil. It is the terrain theory, and it is about making this healthier so that that does not affect it or anything else that you come in contact with, a stressful situation, whatever. And so this is about empowering you with that knowledge. And so go ahead and text Belly Fire to the phone number 706-657-4777 to save your seat to the workshop. I hope you're blessed with trying to get motivated and then come and get inspired and equipped to change your life, because it's yours and you're in control. And you can have anything you want, but you got to be careful, because what you focus on will become your reality. And we want to focus on health, not the treatment of disease and symptoms. So have a great evening.